August 19, 2013, the notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the Two-River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk all on January 11, 2013. Committeeman Fiore.
Here.
Committeeman Massell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Here.
Committeeman Sedembrino.
Here.
Mayor Sharkler.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our freedoms, constitutions, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have the swearing in of new police officers. At this time, the mayor will come forward and begin swearing in. We're beginning with Rosanny Muriello. Please come forward.
I, Rosanny A. Muriello,
I, Rosanny A. Muriello,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and I do swear
and I do swear
to faithfully, impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of Middletown Township Police Officer,
of Middletown Township Police Officer,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to invite Joshua P. Mendoza. Please come forward with your family.
Brother Maureen is going to give the oath.
Ceballos,
I, Joshua Ceballos,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
and of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and I do swear
and I do swear
to faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of Middletown Township Police Officer,
of the Middletown Township Police Officer,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to invite Nicholas J. Hanks to please come forward.
I, Nicholas J. Haynes,
Nicholas J. Haynes,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and I do swear
and I do swear
to faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of Middletown Township Police Officer,
of Middletown Township Police Officer,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to invite Christopher P. Menendez to please come forward.
I, Christopher P. Menendez,
I, Christopher P. Menendez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government
and to the government
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and I do swear
and I do swear
to faithfully,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of Middletown Township Police Officer
of Middletown Township Police Officer,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to invite Jason T. Crochane, please come forward.
I, Jason T. Crochane,
I, Jason T. Troshane,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in the state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people.
of the people.
And I do swear
And I do swear
to faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of Middletown Township Police Officer
of Middletown Township Police Officer,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to invite Savas Bramaliotis, please come forward.
I, Savas Manoliotis,
I, Savas Manoliotis,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the government established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people. And I do swear to faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Middletown Township Police Officer, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to please invite Brendan B. Santiago to please come forward. I'm sorry. Okay. We have John F. Walsifer, the second. Please come forward.
I, John F. Walsifer II. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people. And I do swear to faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Middletown Township Police Officer, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to invite Brendan B. Santiago to please come forward.
I, Brendan B. Santiago, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people.
of the people.
And I do swear
And I do swear
to faithfully,
to faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of Middletown Township Police Officer
of Middletown Township Police Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. On behalf of the Township Committee, I just want to congratulate all these fine police officers. We are beyond ecstatic and proud to have them on our force. Middletown is such a great place to live. I imagine I'm going to say that up here, but it really is a great place to live. And the big reason is because of our police force. We have the smallest police force per capita, and also the lowest crime rate anywhere in Monmouth and Ocean County, with a municipality our size. And that says a lot. So you're joining really an elite force, and just looking at this group here, I think we have more elite coming on board. So congratulations, and if there's ever anything we can do for you, please let us know, okay?
Saying, none of this could be possible without the support of the governing body, the mayor, the committee, and the township administrator. Tonight culminates our hiring process, which began about nearly 5 months ago. You know, it takes a lot to get where we're at right now, especially when we had to hire 8 candidates. We looked at probably 55 people before we got 8 candidates. So it's not something that we take lightly or something that's done very easily. It takes a lot of man hours, a lot of cooperation throughout the police department internally. Our detective bureau worked, I can't even tell you how many hours. The person that put in the most time would be Staff Sergeant, Sergeant First Class Phil Colangelo, standing in the back. He coordinated everything, he kept everything going on track. He knew we had to meet deadlines, he knew we had to meet a certain level of staff. We had a lot of retirements coming up, so we're really working hard to keep the police force where it needs to be so we can absorb any upcoming retirements. The people that we hired tonight, I can't tell you, they all come with excellent backgrounds. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. We'll start with Roseanne Muriello. Officer Muriello is a Middletown resident. She's attended Brooklyn Community College. She's a U.S. Army Reserve Sergeant, and she's a hazardous material tech specialist, and she's bilingual. She's received several commendations: Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Campaign Star, Non-Commissioned Officer, Professional Development Ribbon, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Ribbon, and Armed Forces Reserve Medal. What is that? Weapons of Mass Destruction Device, correct? Thank you. Very proud to have her parents here to administer the oath and pin the badge on the Our next candidate is Josh Midos, whose family goes very deep in Middletown. Everybody thought we were hiring his grandfather, but I told him no, he's past the age. Former fire chief, know his dad. Josh is a Middletown resident, obviously. He's got an associate's degree, and he's working on his bachelor's degree right now. He was very proud to have his mom and dad here today, and his grandfather. Don't forget his grandfather. Although he hails from Township, kind of grew up in Middletown. His dad was a former athletic director here in Middletown for 30 some odd years, 35 years, and he told me that his dad used to drag him up here every sporting event that he had to come to, so he kind of grew up here, he said. He's got a bachelor's degree in psychology from Rutgers University, and he's also a member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society Dean's List, and he's also, this is a very interesting thing, he's the recipient of the joint resolution of New Jersey legislators for displaying uncommon courage and heroism in rescuing a swimmer. Pretty interesting note. Mr. Haynes worked in the past for Martell's down in Point Pleasant.
Oh my God.
I don't know how you go from working inside the building here, you happen to turn around and look, you saw a swimmer out there.
Oh my God.
Who was floundering in the surf. He's telling us the story. He said, I knew I was making a mistake going in without a flotation device, but he risked his own life and limb to go in and rescue this person. And obviously, he's here today to talk about it. The person that he saved is here to talk about it, to be with their family. So he's a pretty remarkable guy. So. Hails from Keyport. He's got an associate's degree in criminal justice. He's also a member of the U.S. Army National Guard as a military police officer. He's an E4 specialist. He has many awards: Afghan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Ribbon, Armed Forces Medal, and the NATO Medal. He's also a volunteer fireman at Keyport. I think we can sign him up for Middletown, right? He's very proud to have no, we're getting him here. He's very proud to have his parents here today. You're going with the sound here, you're going to win. Okay, our next candidate is Jason Treshane. He hails from Marlborough. He's got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Rutgers University, which is pretty good. Interesting thing about Jason is he's a martial arts instructor. He's a 4th degree black belt and a 1st degree black belt in kickboxing. I know his dad is very involved in that during his interview, so we're glad to have him. He might get to put some of those skills to use here. Hopefully not on me. He's very proud to have his parents here and his girlfriend. The next candidate is Satis Romeliotis.
Yes.
Okay. He's from Union Beach, and he's got a bachelor's degree in liberal arts from Manitoba. He's a bilingual person. He speaks Spanish and Greek. Okay. And he's very honored to have his parents here to hold the credit for holding the Bible and his girlfriend. John Walsett for the second. Hails from Belmont. He's got an associate's degree in business administration from Brookdale, and he's pursuing his bachelor's degree from Rutgers right now. He's also been a class 1 officer in Avon Police Department down in New Jersey, New York. And I know he comes from the law enforcement family. And I know you're very proud of him today, and I know his parents, he's very proud of his parents here today. We'll swear him in and pin his badge. Thank you. Last but not least, Brendan Santiago. He comes from an Alabama, and he comes from a law enforcement family also. His dad's a career corrections officer in the state of New Jersey, as was Brendan. He kind of stole him away from the state of New Jersey. We're happy to have him. He's also bilingual. He speaks Spanish. And I know he's extremely proud to have his dad and mom here today to administer the oath and pin the badge on him. And we're thankful to have him. Tonight's the easy part. Tomorrow they start on their 25-year odyssey to fulfill their career obligations. Next week they begin the academy for 22 weeks. They'll be at a residential academy down in Cape May, and they'll be putting on, learning how to be a policeman, learning everything they need to know to come back and serve taxpayers in Middletown for 25 years. But I'm sure every one of them packs the gear to get the job done. And we're looking forward to having them back here in January, and they'll do the 12-week field training officer program, and after that, they'll be working in the field here in Middletown. We're very proud of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have you up here to a group shot.
We get to do this often, so we got to.
By the way, we never hire 8 officers at one time. First time that I've been doing this for
I just take money, I don't care about that. Unless it's made of precious metal, you know.
Can we get them all in, guys? No, you can't, can you?
Turn to the side.
Yes, turn inside, my friend. There you go. That's it. Is that better? Just
the meeting. We're going to begin this portion of the meeting with our certificate of appreciation awarded to the employee of the month for June 2013. At this time, I'd like to invite Mary Vaskowski of the Township Clerk's Office, please.
When you deal with the public, as so many of the employees in Middletown have to do on a daily basis, it's critical. It's make or break. It's a very thin line between, hostility and really, satisfied customer. And Mary goes above and beyond, and particularly with rail permits, can get a little funky there. But Mary's done a great job. She sort of streamlined it and helped it go even smoother, and we can't thank you enough. The more you make the population happier, the easier you make our lives. And we really appreciate that. With that, we have a certificate from Mary Vaskowski by the Mayor and Township Committee in recognition of outstanding service to the administration and residents of the township. You are hereby designated Employee of the Month for July 2013. Given under my hand, sealed my office in the township of Middletown, I am Jerry Sharp. Congratulations. $25 gift certificate for lives.
There we go. What's that? Rapid goes.
From the Monmouth Fire Company to the Middletown Disaster Relief Fund for Oklahoma related. At this time, I'd like to invite the Monmouth Fire Company, our MDRF Chairman Tony Fury, and Mayor Jerry Sharpenberger, please come forward.
Okay, before I turn it over to everybody again here, I just have to say again, all of you I'm sure will take these words, we cannot say enough about Fort Monmouth, the fire department in general, especially the Fort Monmouth Firehouse. with everything they've been through since Sandy and everything that they've done, not only for the community and certainly to rebuild their own house, but now reaching out across state lines to help somebody realizing how it feels to be hit out of the blue like that and have such devastation to set your community. For them to step up the way they have, and we were at the open house,
The 90th anniversary.
the 90th anniversary, and they made a point of raising money for all the victims, and it was really heartening that they really haven't forgotten what it's like to be in that position, even though things are sort of moving on. And with that, I want to turn it over to Tony.
Yeah, I just cannot say enough about what Buddy and Martin and the whole Monmouth Fire Company. I mean, you guys have been through so much. You've always been since Superstorm Sandy, the stalwart of the community, kind of that ground zero point. And one of the most best things that I was felt best about with the Middletown Disaster Relief Fund, which is a separate organization that a charity that both the mayor and I serve on, that we started right after the storm, was being able to help you guys rebuild, to help a lot of our friends and neighbors in Vermont. And when the tornado hit Oklahoma, many of you probably are aware that we had a lot of help, and thank God for some of those people from Southern Baptist Relief effort in Oklahoma. And when the tornado hit, it was Buddy and Martin and the guys from Vermont that said, hey, we need to do something to help give them something back, to help them rebuild also ease paying forward. Through their generosity in that 90th anniversary celebration, they raised some money that they're going to donate to the Middletown Disaster Relief Fund that we're going to send to a family that we've adopted here in Norwood that lost everything and had three of their kids in that school, as their classmates passed away. So I can't thank you guys enough, buddy.
We thank you guys for everything you've done for the firehouse, all of the whole Bayshore area, the rest of the township. Like I said, leaving your families to come out and serve meals or deliver goods, in the streets with the mud, nail, screws, everything, we were everywhere. It's, just showed how great you guys are for the community. Thank you. And I would like to do the presentation.
It's always in order. Said you couldn't call.
This is a little bit later than it should be because I think it's a lot of mattress. We're tracking now, but there is $125 worth of gift cards in here. And more importantly, from our 50/50 that we did have, we got all the army, mental and physical, we would like to donate a check to the district $125.
It must be a group chat before you can go. So everybody come this way. Come on in. This, all good. You guys know turn the sidewall, I know it. Put your tears if you have to. Come that up on top. Or temple, that's another way to go, I'll take that. There we go. There I got you.
Watch the glare.
I said, we can get to work for a minute. That's one more set of thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we have a proclamation declaring September 2013 as Paint the Town Teal Month. I'd like to invite the Middletown Turn the Town Teal Chairwoman Courtney Mackerel, please come forward.
This is a chairwoman, okay? She is so young, it boggles my mind that she's been on this campaign for years. How many years is it now? Wow. And sometimes you run across kids, and you get a lot of students here that I interact with, and you can just tell that they're going to do great things in life. And you can tell the way they behave in school, that they're really not, that aloof, that type of kid that I was probably in high school. But instead, really get involved and they're wise and mature beyond their years. This is a great example. With that, let's stop and read the proclamation and then turn it over to you. Okay? Whereas ovarian cancer is called a silent disease because its symptoms are often vague or subtle. And whereas ovarian cancer is the 5th leading cause of cancer death among women and the leading cause of gynecological cancer death in the United States. Each year, more than 22,000 women are diagnosed with the disease and approximately 16,000 die from it. And whereas, if detected in its early stages, survival from ovarian cancer is 90 to 95%. Yet the 5-year survival rate for the disease is only 28% because it is so difficult to detect early. And whereas September has been designated as National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas Turn the Town's Teal is a campaign to create awareness of ovarian cancer and its symptoms. This campaign was the inspiration of Dale McNeil of Chatham, New Jersey, that goes forward in her name and her honor. And whereas biodegradable ribbons will be tied on trees and poles throughout Middletown to raise awareness about the disease, free symptom and information cards will also be placed at local businesses. Therefore, I, Mayor Jerry Schoffer, of the Middletown Township Committee, do hereby proclaim that September 2013 is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month in Middletown Township. Be it further proclaimed that the governing body supports the Turn the Town's Teal Awareness campaign. Thank you, Courtney, for everything you've been doing.
Acknowledging the Middletown 350-year celebration. At this time, I'd like to invite Deputy Mayor Stephanie Murray, Historical Advisor Peter Van Ortwick, Murray Farmhouse Curator Ellen Jackson, and Forestry Park Volunteer Ed Devlin to please come forward.
I was afraid my time might be too wide. Well, as everybody I hope knows by now, that next year is going to be Middletown's 350th anniversary. And it coincides with the state's 350th 50th anniversary, and you go back in history with the English and the Dutch going back and forth. The English finally got control, and then we started to see the modern formation of the states as a state as we know it now. And we're really excited about it, and we're going to plan the biggest party you've ever seen. And the folks up here with me are doing great work toward that end. First of all, Deputy Mayor Stephanie Murray, I cannot say enough good about everything she's done, chairing the steering committee for the 350, and really getting things off the ground. These things are sometimes hard to organize. People really have good intentions, but unless you corral all those good intentions, it really doesn't go anywhere. And Stephanie's done a great job doing just that. To my right is my good friend, Peter Van Dorwick, who is the de facto township historian at GMSK, and he is graciously agreed to be the service and historic advisor to the 350, make sure we get it just right. And Peter is a walking encyclopedia of Middletown knowledge. And I see his wife back there, Joy, can attest too that your house is full of Middletown history, right? I've been there, and some of those rooms, right? Okay. But Pete's been a great resource for us. If you need a map or you need an article, you know, I think I have something in it. He comes up with it. So it really is, it's a great thing. And we're going to really draw attention to Middletown and the great history we have here. Kids in Hawaii and Idaho learn about things that happened here in Middletown. The escape route after the Battle of Monmouth came right down Kings Highway here to Sandy Hook, which is also in Middletown. We have the great historic sites here, Marple Hall, the Taylor House, the Murray Farmhouse, and dozens of others. So we're going to really draw attention to that, not only for us here, we need a reminder sometimes, but also to the rest of the state and beyond, too. Next year is also Super Bowl New Jersey. So we're going to tie this in and try and make Middletown one of the stops for folks who are coming into Super Bowl and hopefully get some attention to our wonderful history and our cultural resources that we have right here. With that, I'm going to stop filibustering and ask, first of all, Deputy Mayor, is there anything?
I think you've covered it all, but I'd just like to add, and I haven't mentioned it, but we are one of the oldest settlements in New Jersey, and that is something to be very proud of.
Right, one of the first four.
One of the first four.
Thank you. What can I say?
You said it all. We are.
Translation, there's so many shut-ups.
No, there's so many people, even in this audience, I see right now, that are working diligently on this project. So thanks to them and paying them for their work. There's quite a few.
And is there anything that we should know in the year 2013 that we've forgotten that you want to remind us of?
Well, we're talking about the Murray family is a family from Middletown. We're going through the development.
No relation.
No relation.
And want to bring that out as they were part of Middletown since 1770.
And beyond into the Civil War as well. So come to Forest Park and tell you all about it.
A family from Middletown.
It's a tremendous resource. If you haven't been to Forest Park, it's 250 acres of pure bucolic splendor. And it really tells you look out there and you can almost see the redwoods coming out of the tree line there. It's unchanged. It really is a great resource. And I owe so much to Middletown myself. My master's project was the old First Church right down the road here. And part of it was the old Presbyterian burying ground and a major project at the Leicester House on Brittle Road. On Holland Road. So I owe a lot to Middletown. I have to, do everything I can to make sure that folks out there know how special it is and what it means to us, not only as Middletowners, but as Americans. I also want to point out Maggie O'Brien, who's the director of the Art Center. That's going to be ground zero for the celebration. We have a lot of great displays there, a lot of great events. I think I'm getting moving into doing a few lectures. People who come to that, boy, they're going to be but anyway, it's going to be a great thing, and we're really excited about it. And with that, please keep your eyes open, follow the website, and you'll hear more and more about it as time goes on. With that, now I read the promise. I'm going to stop and read the proclamation. Whereas Middletown Township was settled in 1664 by brave families from England seeking religious tolerance. The village of Middletown was first known as one of the oldest permanent English settlements in New Jersey. with the first land being purchased on January 25th, 1664 from Lenape Native Americans. And whereas Middletown Township was officially established as one of only 3 Monmouth County municipalities by 1693. At that time, Middletown Township encompassed everything north of the Navesink River and east of Freehold Township. It was divided close to its current size in the mid-19th century. Now, whereas by 1850, the village continued to prosper with 40 houses, campaigning those days was 6 stores, industry, a hotel, and mail by stagecoach. Meanwhile, the township's sectional identity began to take hold with familiar sections such as Leonardo, Navesink, and Chapel Hill being named for prestigious landowners and new post offices. And whereas automobiles and the construction of the Garden State Parkway in 1954 stimulated the suburbanization of Middletown Township, converting the largely agrarian community into the dynamic suburban of New York of today. And whereas Middletown Township will officially embark on a year-long celebration of its fascinating history, beginning at Middletown Day 2013. A wide array of Middletown 350 programs and events are being planned to celebrate all that is Middletown. This includes historic church tours in Middletown Village, Revolutionary War reenactments at Forestry Park, and a birthday party at the Middletown Arts Center. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Jerry Schottenberger, and the Middletown Township Committee do hereby encourage all families to participate in Middletown 350 activities, explore our beautiful parks, and celebrate 350 years of rich history. Thank you all very much.
At this time, we have a certificate of appreciation to the 350-year anniversary logo designer. At this time, I'd like to invite the contest winner, Sharon Zavini, to please come forward, the Art Center Director, Maggie O'Brien, and Recreation Director, Janet Gillette.
I don't know if anybody's seen the logo yet for 350, but it's magnificent, and it really does it does everything that a logo should do. Catch your eye, get your interest, and all of that. And we're really blessed to have so much talent in Middletown, and so much talent within the town to be able to create something that's so perfect and so well suited for the celebration we have coming up. The certificate is awarded to Sharon Zavini. Gotta be like mine, man. By the Middletown Township Committee in recognition of winning the Middletown 350 logo contest. Thank you for using your outstanding design skills to create a unique logo that embodies the spirit of the Middletown 350 celebration. We are very proud to have such a talented designer within our midst. Thank you and congratulations.
Somebody's got to hold it, right?
Yeah.
You get to choose. You want that one or that one? There you go. Okay. got everything. One more and we're all set. Thank you, congratulations.
Next year, Sharon's going to design the logo for the top of the tax bills, right?
You start talking about Bill Sunday, how
Our last presentation, we have a proclamation declaring September 28th as Middletown Day 2013. At this time, I'd like to invite Recreation Director Janet Delick and Middletown Arts Center Director Maggie O'Brien, please come forward.
Okay, before I read the proclamation, one of the most beloved events in Middletown clearly is Middletown Day. Every year, people look forward to it. They come and have a great time. They read about it in museums. And a couple years ago, we sort of retooled the day and came back with it last year of completely private donations and funding, and it was a huge success. And to my right are two of the big reasons for that success. And they do they take on an enormous task to pull this all together. It really is a year-long process, and we have to thank them for everything they do. I know this year is going to be light years ahead of anything we've done. Not most of which you're going to see us play football up here. It's a long story. A charity football game against NFL players, so we're really excited about it. Everybody up here, and Stephanie's going to teach me how to throw a spiral. So
You better bring your A game.
yeah. With that, I'm going to read the proclamation real quick and then turn it over to Maggie. Whereas Middletown Township is a 42 square mile community that's 67,000 neighbors all along. And whereas Middletown Township is a unique collection of neighborhoods, each with its own geographic flavor and historic personality. Together we form a dynamic community with a strong volunteer spirit. And whereas Middletown Township began to hold an annual fall festival over a decade ago to offer residents the opportunity to meet friends and neighbors from Middletown Village, Leonardo, River Plaza, Wincroft, and everywhere in between. And whereas Middletown Day 2013 will be held, rain or shine, on Saturday, September 28th, 2013, from noon to 6 p.m. on the Great Lawn in Croydon Hall. And whereas Middletown Day 2013, which is sponsored by the local business groups and individuals, promises to be a spectacular family fun day. Highlights of the day include local music, a business and community showcase, craft fair, petting zoo, hay rides, and a food court. The day will also mark the start of Middletown 350, a year-long celebration of the township's settlement in 1664. And therefore, be proclaimed that I, Mayor Jerry Schaffenberger, and the Middletown Township Committee, do hereby proclaim September 28th, 2013 as Middletown Day. We encourage all our residents to come celebrate all that makes Middletown special.
We're looking forward to it, another great event, so hope everybody comes to see.
Had a couple different things this year. We've got the laser tag. We're going to try a home run derby contest, and as the mayor alluded to, we will be trying to win the flag football.
I'm back. It was that guard thing, I know, I'm so sorry. I wasn't passing it up. And Middletown.
Yeah.
Last pictures today. Thank you.
Second pass.
agenda, we have the approval of minutes for May 20th, 2013 regular meeting, the June 3rd, 2013 executive session, June 3rd, 2013 workshop meeting, the June 17th, 2013 executive session, June 17th, 2013 regular meeting, and the July 8th, 2013 special meeting.
Move for approval.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Estelle.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. At this time, we have public hearing of proposed ordinances, 2013-3094, an ordinance authorizing third-party payroll disbursement services.
Are there any members of the public who would like to speak to ordinance number 2013-3094? Seeing no members of the public come forward, move to close the public portion and move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Estelle.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading. At this time, we have introduction of ordinances, 2013-3095, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Middletown, County of Monmouth, amending Chapter 16, Planning and Development Regulations for signs.
Move for introduction.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Estelle.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held September 16, 2013. At this time, we have ordinance 2013-3096, an ordinance amending recreation permit application process, fee schedule, and establishing user classifications.
Move for introduction.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Estelle.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held September 16, 2013. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee to adopt a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 13-213 through 13-221, including bingoes and raffles and volunteer firefighter applications.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Estelle.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass consent agenda. At this time, we have Resolution 13-212, resolution authorizing payment of bills for August 19, 2013.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Estelle.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Schaffenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 13-212. At this time, we have Township Committee comments.
Mr. Massell.
I'll be brief since we're a little late tonight, but I just want to say that the progress we've made on the fields on the swamp is fantastic, and really is the right decision to make, and can't wait to see the kids out there. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Sedambrino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, tonight was certainly a fantastic meeting. We had uniforms of both types, both police and fire. We had costumes, we had ribbons, logos, and ended with Middletown Day. So many events, in fact, that our public information officer had to reload film into her camera because I saw her come out and come back in again. So these types of nights make me very proud to be a member of the governing body here in Middletown. So these kind of things make me very proud and honored to be a part of it. So, Mayor, with that, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fiore.
That was very well said by my colleague, Committeeman Sedambrino. I echo what he said there, and I will have no other comment this evening but to echo the same. So, thanks.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Murray.
Just to continue along the vein of speaking about what a fantastic meeting we had, I would just like to say that tonight was one of those nights that I remember how grateful I am that we live in a great community like this, and it's the days like this that you remember and think about. Times are a little bit difficult, and just like to say I'm very grateful to live here, and that's all I have for you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna pile it on a little bit too about what a great meeting it was. It was so great to see, some of the fine young police officers that we have coming on. They're a big part of what makes Middletown so special, and it's such a great place to live. And we tend to take them for granted, I think, a lot of times, especially if you don't have a lot of interaction, which is a good thing with them. But they're there, and we saw it, especially in events like Sandy, and how they stepped up and really kept the town in order and really kept it from turning into a really chaotic, out of control situation. So we're very blessed to have such a strong police force, and I think it's going to get stronger looking at the group that we have coming on board. This 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or a week ago, I think, was the Nipissing Fireman's Fair, which is a great tradition. And the weather was a little bit funky the first day, I think, but the rest of the weekend cooperated. They really did quite well. And I think I went on the Saturday night, and it was great to see so many people. That's really what gives Middletown a small town feel, when you see these sort of events. And people getting together, even though we're as large as we are, we still maintain that small town character, and that's something that you really can't put a price on. Committeeman Marcel had mentioned the fields, and what a great job they're doing over there. I passed by it not too long ago, and they're really making tremendous progress. Now think of it, this is an initiative that began this past spring, and by the time the end of the summer or the very early fall, we're going to have 2 brand new fields, which is tremendous progress. That really is something to be very proud of. Ted Maloney and his team, and T&M, and the folks at the Board of Ed, everybody working together to really make this work so well and so efficiently, and we're really looking forward to that. And all the other improvements that we're going to be making in different fields around town. I know I met with some of the leagues recently, and they all seem to be very satisfied with the progress we're making, and they're looking forward to seeing what comes next. And I think we're going to keep this momentum going, and I hope we will. I got an email from the Veterans Affairs Committee, and they're one of the more active boards, one of the newer ones, but certainly one of the more active ones. And they were just accepted into the Vietnam 50th Anniversary Commemorative Partner Program, which is run out of Washington, D.C. And needless to say, they're all very excited, because a lot of the veterans, a lot of the older veterans now are Vietnam veterans in their 70s. Time really goes by very quickly, and now they're the elder statesmen. We have quite a few Korean and some World War II vets, but the main group of veterans now are Vietnam veterans. And anybody who grew up in that period, and I grew up at the tail end of it, remembers how shabbily they were treated. And to see these sort of commemorations here, it really, does my heart good to see that. I remember my dad, who was a World War II vet, was really upset with the way they were treated. And I had a brother-in-law who was in the National Guard, who would get things thrown at him in a parade. It was disgusting, quite frankly. And I think we have a lot to make amends for. And certainly this is an important first step. And I really give a lot of credit to the Veterans Affairs Committee for following up on this and taking such a lead and making sure Middletown is invited. And just one more thing, and then I'll stop the filibuster. I had several people come into my office, part-timers who either work for the town or the Board of Ed, and asked, quite upset that their hours are going to be cut because of Obamacare. And this is something that I don't think people in this country realize what's coming down. And we have to cut hours for part-timers, and certainly anybody in a part-time position, because if you reach a certain threshold in hours work, you have to be provided health benefits. And this is a huge problem, because we rely on our part-timers quite a bit, and they certainly rely on those hours. For them, somebody who's working 32 hours a week or less, to have their hours cut by 5 or 7 hours a week really hurts. So this just goes to show that it's not just evil rich people who the government is going after, but it's really affecting everybody. And the people who can afford it least are going to get hurt the worst with this. And we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. So it's sort of good that people are opening their eyes to what's happening, but it's going to be a rough ride down the road. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you folks. Thank you very much.
We have public comments.
Okay, and before we start with public comments, just let me reiterate the ground rules. Please state your name and address, and also keep your comments to 5 minutes. And I will let you know when your 5 minutes are up. If you want to speak to us further, we'd be happy to stay around and chat with you some more, okay? Gentleman in the back, where's my gavel? Okay.
Frank Sell, 20 Joseph Court.
Frank, complete it. Say former mayor Frank Sell, right? Frank was mayor in 75. No, not 1875. That's the old joke we had.
I'm in political rehab here. Anyway, my name is Frank Sell, 20 Joseph Court, Benton Falls, New Jersey. I'm a 42-year resident of Middletown. And I'm not here speaking on behalf of myself. I was sent over here as an unelected person that volunteered at Beacon Hill to come over and speak about a safety problem we have. Basically, it amounts to Beacon Hill Road. It's very steep, and we have 5 crossings across that road. And I got involved in it because I almost got killed about 2 weeks ago by a motorcycle of all things. And as the mayor knows, and the former mayor, Tony Fiore, knows, we have sought relief of some sort. Anything from closing the road to speed bumps to, I think they're digging up some of the road and putting gravel and everything. Well, finally, the board of trustees at Beacon Hill, they finally got together and they have decided on speed bumps. And that's what we were trying to request from the township in order to slow the traffic down. Those of you who know Beacon Hill Road, it's probably one of the steepest roads in all of Middletown. And people, it's not even their fault off that hill by the time they reach the bottom of the hill. They're doing 40 or 50 miles an hour. And a golf cart can appear all of a sudden, and there's a tragedy. So basically, after all the back and forth, we finally got a consensus opinion from the Board of Trustees, and I'm here tonight to bring that opinion to you.
Frank, let me ask Ted to speak on this, and then Tony Mercatande about speed bumps and the pros and cons of that.
Thank you, Mayor. There were a few alternatives for traffic calming. I actually met with Rob Keating, our consulting engineer, on Friday, specifically about Beacon Hill. It's on our capital list for the fall to come up with a traffic design to slow calm traffic down that street. We're not sure exactly which direction we're going to be heading, but we're probably going to have a few different options to present to the committee later on this fall, early in the fall.
Yeah, I'm aware of some of the pros and cons. I was the director of public works here in Middletown for a few years. And we've battered this back and forth among the board of trustees. And basically, we can't think of anything else. Of course, there's always the possibility of putting in bumper strips. And they don't, as you know, they don't last. Many people know they're there, they forget about them and continue on just like they did before.
Frank, Ted, if I could, look, first of all, I think a little bit, and I'm going to apologize to, that committee at Beacon Hill because, I've brought this up for 2 years in a row now. And it's, in my opinion, we need to prioritize this. Since I've been mayor in 2011, my first year, it may have been the first time I brought this up. I echoed it again in 2012. Now, as yourself is here, and another mayor has echoed in 2013. To be honest, it's being a little embarrassing now that we have to keep hearing about this. So I really would like to see some kind of whatever we can do. If it's nothing that we can do because it's a safety issue with the speed bump and the bicyclists or, the skateboards, whatever, that's something we have to look at and the attorney can weigh in on and the insurance guys can weigh in on. If it's a landscape design where it's something in the middle of the road so that people have to slow down so they don't blow right through it and has to slow them down, then we have to think about that. If it's, digging up the road and putting, pavers in, I'm not sure it's gonna really be effective, but it would slow you down because, just the human nature. We have to do something. I mean, this has gone on for way too long, so we'll get there, Mr. Self, we'll get there.
Thank you. So what shall I take back to the Board of Trustees?
Ted, I guess you can look into where it is on in the capital program.
It is on this year's capital, so we'll come up with some concepts hopefully in a matter of few weeks here.
Okay, I say this because they're having a trustee meeting tomorrow night, and I would like to take some sort of a word back from, as Sonny pointed out, this problem has existed for almost 3 years now. It's existed for a long time. It's been studied for 3 years now.
Frank, you can stay for a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, because we can, put our heads together and bring something back to the, the folks at Beacon Hill before you leave then, okay?
Very well. By the way, it's a fantastic meeting tonight.
Was it? Yeah.
Great to have you back.
Thanks, Frank, good seeing you. Okay, are there any other members of the public? Yes, sir.
The name is Charlie Nelson, and I guess I should object to having my address publicized, so would you please see me in private if you want that. I heard the mayor mention efficiency. I think one of the most obvious examples of patronage and inefficiency is the way the road department, / public works, whatever you want to call them, and the Parks and Rec people work together. It is terrible. I have talked to the second in command in the Public Works Department and 3 foremen in the Parks and Rec. And this happened last spring. I was asked to represent some of my neighbors. And there are things that are just so obvious to any reasonable person that there would have been a list made of the things we discussed. Instead, I was handed what I think was a schmegready type of answer from people who were supposedly professionals and in positions of power and management. And I presume that permeates the whole township from what I can gather. It's not the first time I've been here, but I haven't been here in 25 years, so it's not good for my part. But just as a for instance, Pine Street, the one that has the jump handle that goes throughout the whole neighborhood of Short Crest. Does everyone know where Pine Street going off of Route 35 is? Route 35 South. Well, Pine Street goes down and meets Stephenville where I live. Now, to get there on Pine Street, you cross a pipe. There's a pipe in the stream. I was told this past spring that the township doesn't have a right-of-way that extends beyond the sidewalk there. Now, is there any way that I can find out without going down to T&M and asking them to pull out a map and pay for that as a private citizen? Is there anybody here from in any position of authority that knows this sort of thing?
I don't know specifically where you're speaking, but you're welcome to come into my office any day, and I'll show you the tax bills.
Who are you? I don't know.
My name's Ted Maloney, I'm the Public Works Director.
Ted Maloney?
Yes,
And you're the engineer?
yes,
And you're a PE?
yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Now, I was told by the same group of people.
Who was that?
Pardon?
Who'd you speak with?
Who's your second in command?
Victor Wines?
Well,
Mr.
I don't
Nelson?
think that's important. The point is, people work, they're not audited. You hire people to come and do things, turn them loose. Starch never had his hands on a power saw before you turn them loose, clear in an area. So he doesn't have where to go, where to stop. He'll cut a lot of nice desirable saplings, which could become street trees, even though he was politely asked to not do that.
It sounds like you're speaking of a specific incident. I'm glad to speak with you about a specific incident.
I can't hear you very well. I forgot the hearing aid.
It sounds like you're speaking about a specific incident you had with one of our crews.
Yes.
And
Well, that's-
I'm not familiar with it. You're glad to answer any questions you
I
have.
can't expect you to be. When I called your office asking for you, and I never got any call back, it was the second in command did finally contact me.
You might have returned the call for me. I don't remember seeing a message that you would call. Again, I would be glad to learn more about your problem. I'm not familiar with your issue.
Mr. Nelson, we're going to get up on the 5-minute limit here.
If I-
So is there anything specific, or these are things that we can work out with Mr. Maloney, if there's specific incidents that you want him to
Well, I
follow
don't
up
know if I'm talking to the right person.
He's the right.
Does
on? Yeah, he's the director of public works.
efficiency something that you care about in the committee?
Absolutely it is.
Oh, only for certain people.
That's not true. And you mentioned patronage. I want you to give me an example of that, if you don't mind. The patronage that you just mentioned.
I can't hear you.
The patronage that you mentioned when you first got up to the podium. Would you mind giving us an example of that?
I can only imagine what I know.
No. That, when you make an accusation like that, you can't imagine. You have to have a specific incident.
Well, you want to divert the discussion about a non-performing department and another non-performing department must have that problem. You can't tell people to do something.
It's actually.
That's not fair, and you should not make accusations like that. Now, are we up to the 5-minute limit? Ms. Nelson, we'd be happy to stay around and get all the information that you have concerns with, and we will follow up on it tomorrow. Okay? But we have to move on now. Thank you. Is there anybody else who would care to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Larry Christopher, 121 Cranberry Court. Since you surrendered your right to filibuster, I'd like to lay claim to it, but I'll keep it within 5 minutes. From the newspapers, there's information that the township is leasing the ex-Lincroft Library building from the Board of Ed, and that the Bayshore Library, after its closing, is being renovated for Parks and Recreation for $36,000. That was the information was released in 2 newspapers articles I read, and names were named, so I don't have to get into them. It was also revealed that those newspaper articles that after the budget was passed, the library budget was passed, 3 libraries were effectively closed, and caused these decisions by the Township Committee to renovate and to lease, and that after that budget was found, passed, the board of the library found out that there was misplaced or wandering around $156,000 in the library fund, whether it existed as surplus, reserve funds, or whatever it was, cash, non-cash, just a figure that amounted to no money at all. My concern is I think the public is disenfranchised with that economic mismanagement. I don't like it personally, and I was wondering, by the way, I have corroboration from a board member of the library outside this room right now, for the record, that they did not know the $156,000 was available before they voted on the budget in this current year, and they do now. It does exist, and so I'm wondering if that board knew that there was $156,000 available in the budget. Would that board, the swing vote, it was a swing vote. I was there, and the last vote it was saying she wasn't into histrionics and theatrics. She was really wavering. She didn't know which way to go. She, in effect, passed the budget. I'm just wondering if the board members, if they knew that $156,000 was available, if they would have used that money to keep the 3 branch libraries open, which many
Leo,
people wanted.
you're going to have to ask the library board. We don't know what they knew or know. That's a separate board.
I can tell you as a board member that which I was not at the time, but had that information been presented to me, I would have probably not made that decision, and I think I said that on the record many times. I believe, if you recall, I said that on the record many times. I would not have come to that conclusion had I been on the board at that time and known that that money existed. So I can't speak for the rest of the board. You should have to ask them that on Wednesday.
And Leo would have voted?
I would have not voted if I knew that that money existed.
You would not have passed the budget
Correct.
if you knew the $156,000.
But I can't speculate for them. You'll have to ask them.
And I was also on that board last year when that money in question came up, and I would echo what Committeeman Fiore said as well.
It's part of the reason I'm on that board.
The budget of this government is commingled and mixed because of services and the $560,000 a year debt service is being paid off and will be for 10 years, as I have asked before this governing body before. Okay? I doubt the public are into that when they start figuring about $36,000, $156,000. For 10 years, that's about $5,650,000 we're talking about. So it's no small change. It seems to me that something has to be done. I'm having my executive session right now, okay? The public's not here, so we can do this all in secret, okay? Nobody's here.
As long as it's within 5 minutes.
And I'd like to see an investigation started. I can't start it. I already spoke before the board the last meeting, and I asked for administrative justice investigation to call on members of the library, no one else, no other citizen, whether they're involved in emailing the director or not, that the administrative justice investigation be done and make members, including the accountant, whoever it was, to be made a respondent. No charges made. Brian Nelson's know what I'm talking about, and I do. You can ask somebody a question without making any charges under administrative justice. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Leo. Is there anybody else who would care to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening. You ready? Good evening. My name is Paul Black. I'm with Council Church. It's great to see you. My hiring police to supplement patrols out in the streets. But I was wondering if the township meets the requirements to accommodate the female officers that we have on staff right now.
Meets the requirements?
Yes, there's special requirements that.
And you mean what?
As far as female officers, do they have their own changing rooms? Do they have their own showers, their own locker area?
We've had female officers for several years, and everything is in place.
So we meet those requirements? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Right.
Yes.
I was also wondering, if the township is determined, where the required impound yard will be for when, properties in town. There's supposed to be a separate impound yard don't have to have an impound yard. Middletown uses a number of towing companies who impound vehicles when they need to be towed. So some municipalities do have an impound yard.
But we don't need one.
We don't have to have them. We use the towing companies who contract with us for towing services.
So why would other towns have them? They don't need them either.
It varies from town to town. If some towns do have a space that they create as an impound yard, we've considered it. The issue for us is that we have such a large volume of vehicles. It would have to be a fairly large property, and might not be very attractive to the neighbors. So there's that issue to weigh compared to the idea of utilizing the towing companies, their own storage yards are already established. But it is an option, and it's something that does get considered from time to time if we think we might have a viable place to do it.
Okay, a couple meetings ago, I mentioned the need for a new municipal center here. Has any thought been given to that since then?
A lot of thought's been given to that. Before then and since then, and we have an in-house group meeting regularly to come up with some alternatives.
Any ideas?
Not yet.
Not yet, just throwing it around.
Well, we're more than throwing it around, but when we're ready to discuss it publicly, we will.
Great, thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else who cares to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is Mika Sparrow. I'm a resident of Fort Connor. I just got a simple question that I've been asking for 30 years. Texas Avenue. How many of you already say was going to go down and take a look at it? Gentlemen here was going to take a look at it. Is that ever going to be repaired?
I think I told you I was down there,
Yes.
right after I spoke to you last time, I believe.
Yes.
You talking about extending the road back through?
Well, it's only one entrance to the Texas Avenue. Okay, the road gets flooded every time you're at high tide, and there's no other entrance to it. If there's a fire there, there's an emergency, there's no way to get to it. The other side is closed off, it's a paper road, you can't even drive through it. So it's a safety hazard for the people that live there. I know it's only 3 houses there, but it's still a safety issue. I'm 61 years old, and I'm pretty soon going to need it if that's possible.
The question is, because I did go out there, the question is and I think Mr. Maloney is also, trying to get his arms around, is that other entrance also going to have any flood potential?
It floods later, much later.
But that's what we have to get. There's a lot of regulations as to, being able to put a road on, a flooded or wetland, if it's delineated in a wetland area. That, we haven't been out there to look at it, but it's a lot more complicated if it's not a dry parcel.
So no road is better,
Well, it's not, sometimes it's not in our jurisdiction where, the DEP or, anyone else who's dealing with wetlands gets in the way.
Road doesn't belong on the wetland. Road is a road, it says road, and their road can put it over at any time.
Yeah, have you ever been down Broadway in Bedford?
No.
Okay, if you ever go down Broadway, you'll see how a road can wash out, which is why you don't just have the ability to just put a road in, based on flooding.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I have a paper road in front of my house for 30 years that is washed away yet. And that's what I was just saying. If they just put stones in the road, just make an entrance, it doesn't have to be paved road.
I'll think there's more, but I don't really think we'll be able to do that there because it is so wet in that one area beyond the guardrail, beyond the end of your street. It's very wet back there. I'll look into it more. I did relay your concerns about fire safety and EMS access to the fire marshal. So, he has that on his radar. I'll look into it a little more and see what we can do in that area. But I really don't think we're going to be able to extend that road because it's very wet back there.
It's not any wetter than the road in front of my house.
Well, that's paved already.
It's already, it's
already a
pre-existing.
road.
It's pre-existing.
It was done by me 30 years ago.
Yeah, you can do that. We can do that. Too,
When I
right?
built that house there. And
Yeah.
it's still holding.
It would be nice
Still
to
solid road.
It is, yeah. The existing road, I have no problem with maintaining it and repairing it if it needs it. It's the extension of the road that's going to be a problem.
There's many different requirements and they're worth 30 years ago. They don't just give you the ability to just do it like we did, when you did that road. That's the issue.
So everything's going to be on.
Well, we'll look into it more. I'll see what we can do, but it's a tricky environmental situation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would care to speak? Going once, going twice. Seeing no members of the public come forward, move to close the public portion and move for adjournment.
Second.
Mayor Fiore. Mayor Michelle.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Mayor Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Sharper.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.